Hey guys, this is Justin. Hello and welcome to another video. I thought now, sort of as Season 3 of The Mandalorian is wrapping up, it would be a good time for a community check-in. That will be the purpose of today's video. I want to sort of address some comments that I've seen, give my thoughts on how my channels are doing, and just kind of connect with you guys. I'm somebody who probably more than is healthy really reads a lot of what you guys write and say about me, whether in my YouTube comment sections, on my Twitter, wherever. So I just think it's a good time to have a heart-to-heart and also get feedback from you guys down in the comment section below. I'll just put some Star Wars Jedi Survivor gameplay footage in the background. You guys can watch that, and I do actually have a comment about that in just a second. But before we begin, I do want to announce that tonight, as the episode airs, I will be doing a live watch party for The Mandalorian Episode 7. It comes out at 4 a.m. in my weird time zone, so I'm not looking forward to that, but I am really looking forward to seeing some of you guys in the chat and responding to questions for as long as I can. So regarding the Jedi Survivor footage I mentioned, I just want to put a brief comment on that. I do have the position where I'm lucky enough to sometimes get exclusive Star Wars gameplay footage like the Survivor stuff. You can always feel free to just take it. If you're a YouTube channel who wants to cover Jedi Survivor, but you weren't invited to the event for whatever reason, take my footage. If I captured it specifically, like if it's my gameplay, I would appreciate that it's mentioned somewhere, but in cases like this where they simply gave us files, just take it. You don't have to ask me. Alright, so I do want to talk about mostly the state of Star Wars and my feelings about The Mandalorian and Star Wars as a whole, because it feels like every day I see comments saying that either I'm a Disney loving shill or that I hate things simply to get clicks, and I genuinely don't think that either of those things is true. I think if I were to describe myself, I'm someone who deeply loves Star Wars, who's often willing to overlook the flaws in the things I love, but am also, especially now as an adult, critical of things when they come out and when I don't like them. Sometimes that's nitpicky, sometimes it's me talking sort of generally about aspects of a show I don't like, but it's always, when I talk to you guys, my honest reaction. I can truly say I've never felt pressure either from a views standpoint, like I want to get as many views as possible, or I don't want to damage my reputation or relationship with someone standpoint to put an opinion out a certain way. Whether you believe me or not, I mean, that's up to you, but when I look at the conscious decisions that I make and how I feel about something, I tend to be pretty honest. When it comes to Star Wars, I mean, there have been times where I've had pretty divergent opinions. I really like The Force Awakens, especially when it comes out. I was somewhat of an apologist for the Book of Boba Fett compared to other people, but my feelings that The Mandalorian Season 3 haven't quite been as good as other seasons is more in line with what most people think, as are my thoughts about the rest of the sequel trilogy, and plenty of other things. As I've gotten older, I feel like I'm definitely a bit more honest with myself, and I'm more able to separate my desire to like something with how much I actually do like it. The thing that really tested that for me was when Halo 4 came out. It was probably the game I was most excited for of all time after my love of Halo 3, and I kind of had a reckoning with the fact that I kind of hated the game, despite really wanting to like it. And I mean, I'm not a young kid anymore. I'm 31 years old. Some of you guys don't know that. You say I've got a young sounding voice, but you know, age certainly has brought, I guess, perspective and also the realization that whether I like or dislike a certain piece of media, it's really not the most important thing in the world. Having kids also really put that into perspective. You know, The Mandalorian could turn out to be the worst show ever. I'm just not as emotionally invested in its success as I once was. I still get frustrated when, you know, opportunities are squandered, as was the case with Episode 9, but I guess it's just easier for me to admit when something is bad, if that makes sense. Now, I don't think that I'm unique in that perspective. I think most people actually have achieved that. I think, if anything, I was maybe a bit later to that than some. Anyway, I just bring this up because, although I don't mean it to, it does bother me when people say that I do things for views, when I have an opinion for views, I hate on Star Wars for views, or the opposite, I love Star Wars, but, you know, it's fake. It shouldn't bother me, but ultimately it does, and part of it's my fault, because I'll be honest, this is, you know, this is the community that I'm talking to now. I, like many YouTubers, most successful YouTubers, I think, do play the YouTube game. Whether you look at someone like Moist Critical, you know, other channels, it's become more and more that people click when you present a compelling narrative. Now, I never try to lie in my video titles, I never try to mislead you about what's in the video, but the titles that work are sometimes the ones that are blunt or even at times a little bit ambiguous in a way that generates interest. I kind of wish it wasn't like that and that each video title could simply be a full thesis about what the video was about, but that's just not what people click on anymore. Attention spans are lower than ever. That's why I've got a clips channel, because people really like those short little bits of knowledge and, ongoing coverage on a daily basis. But I mean, when I title some, they have a chance to make things right, I guess I understand why some people don't like it, although it is my honest thought. Same with Is Disney Finally Learning? That video was about Disney not previously relying on decades of source material. And with the clips thing, I also understand it. I've heard from a lot of you guys that you don't like the format, and that's fair enough. For me, it's what helps support me and you guys don't know this, but across my YouTube channels, I actually have 4 paid employees or partners. If you've watched the Clips channel, for example, you'll probably realize that half the time the videos aren't even made by me. If you hear a British guy talking, that's Charlie. And yeah, we're very successful over there, and I think that just like on the main channel, our content tends to be very fair, very even-handed, and ultimately our honest opinions. I'll say the same thing that I've said here. I never change my opinion on the Clips channel to appease people who either love the series or hate it. It's my opinion or it's Charlie's opinion, usually a combination of both of ours. But I do understand, if you don't know me, if you don't watch the videos, maybe you get a certain opinion of me, and that sucks. That's also kind of the nature of being a public figure. If I named you a Star Wars YouTuber, you probably think that you know what their opinion is on Star Wars, and the truth is, it's nearly 100% of the time more complex than that. But when you've put out thousands and thousands of videos like I have, like I don't want to call them co-workers or competition, like the other YouTubers have, people get an idea of who you are. People start talking to other people, and that idea is reinforced, and it's very hard to break, especially while you're continuing to try to run a popular YouTube channel. And when it comes to The Mandalorian, I've been disappointed for a lot of the season in individual episodes and also the overall trajectory. From what I've heard, tonight's episode is really great, and that's actually part of the reason why I've chose to do this watch party, because I do think it will be good to share some positivity with you guys. But I'm also not going to stop covering Star Wars when I felt negative about something for 8 weeks. Just like when Mando Season 1 and 2 came out, I had pretty much non-stop praise with some exceptions. In everyday life, if I don't like something, I don't talk to my friends every week about a show. Like, if I didn't like whatever, the Halo show, I wouldn't be calling up my buddies every week to complain about it, unless, it was something we did for fun and it was all in good spirits. With my job, I feel like I'm kind of a media reviewer. It's my responsibility to talk about things that are important to you guys, whether good or bad. And yeah, it does come off blunt with some of the titles, but I don't know. I think if you watch my content, that I'm fair. And I think even if you really consider my titles and what they mean, that I'm also fair. I've really done my best to be an honest and good, I don't even know what the word is, good community member with you guys, community leader for my channel. I've made mistakes along the way, certainly. There are videos that I would take back. There are feuds that I would take back. It's, I think, easy to lose sight of the person when you're online, but I don't know. I've always came at things with the right intention. Like, I love YouTube and I love this job that I have more than any job I've had in the past. It's one of the favorite things about my life, other than my wife and kids and my friends, really. The fact that this is what I get to do makes me feel so lucky and so privileged. I've always tried to not take advantage of you guys. I've turned down sponsorships that I don't think were good. I have done a Raid Shadow Legends one in the past. That's on me, but I try. And I think everyone tries. I think if you look at most of the YouTubers, at least in the Star Wars scene, we're all trying. We're all, going about things as best we can. And it's also very easy, especially when, let's be honest, you get a following, you get a bit of an ego, to get caught up in the day-to-day, the criticism, the things other people are saying. And when I see the High Republic fans coming at me, for example, or when I see sequel trilogy fans coming at me, or on the opposite, when I see the people calling me shills, yeah, it can be tempting to double down and embrace that mindset, but I don't think I have, and I'm going to try not to. And again, it gets easier as I get, older, and it also gets easier as I do other things like develop my hockey channel. That's given me real perspective. It was also harder during the pandemic when I wasn't seeing my friends as much. Nowadays, I'm playing hockey 3 times a week. I'm seeing my friends regularly, and it just really puts into perspective how stupid everything online can be. So I guess the summary is that when you guys complain about the channel, I do take your complaints to heart. I really, really do, and that's why I'm making this video, and that's why I'll be reading comments after this video comes out, hearting them, etc. I'm also trying to acknowledge that I've made many mistakes. When you put out thousands of videos, that happens. There are things that I regret, there are things that I would do differently, but there's not really a period in my life, or my time on YouTube anyway, where I look back and say, I came at that from a really, really just bad point of view. I came at that with bad intentions. So I'm going to keep everything you guys say in mind, especially when I'm crafting my titles. I play the game like everyone else does, but that's also not an excuse. That's not a full acquittal either. And I'm also just trying to be, be less. I talked about this on Twitter a bit. There's been some drama recently with the Star Wars wiki. I was thinking about making a video on it because I think it's a really bad situation. It's one that I've personally been pretty closely involved in. But as of a couple of years ago, really, I've tried to make my online presence less about people, less aggressive sometimes, less adversarial, and really focus on the content. Focus on talking about Star Wars, focus on talking about hockey, focus on whatever the future holds. Because while the claims that I can be a shill, or the opposite, that I can be overly critical just for views, are frustrating, certainly frustrating, they pretty much just roll off me at this point. The thing that I really want to avoid is people saying that I'm a bully or that I've become a bully, and I certainly want to avoid actually becoming one. I said this before, but kind of my purpose when I do these videos is to make people's lives better. Like, on a basic level, I just want to entertain. Sometimes that means, yeah, talking about things that we don't like, but I don't want to be a negative force in someone's life. Anyway, I wasn't really planning on going this direction. We're getting kind of off topic, but that's definitely something that, again, as I get older, has become more and more important to me. And like, I've never been someone who is really interested in drama. For one, I'm very conflict adverse. I've got anxiety when dealing with stuff like that. I just really prefer not to, but I just have fallen even more in that camp. I also just want to end this video off by saying that despite some of my issues with The Mandalorian Season 3 or Kenobi, I'm still someone who's very excited and positive about some aspects of Star Wars. I'd say I'm excited about Star Wars generally. I'm very positive about certain aspects, and I'm certainly not a cynic. Like, Ahsoka has me excited. I cover that in my trailer breakdown. Even the episode 10 stuff, let's be honest, the Rey movie will be episode 10, I'm open to. Either way, we'll be having that live stream tonight. It will be coming out about 3:45 Eastern time, or sorry, 2:45 Eastern time, 3:45 my time. That's 11:45 Pacific. If you're another time zone, I'm sorry. You've got some math on your hands, or you can just click on the stream, which again, linked, and you'll have a countdown to when it starts, and you can also click a bell so you're notified when I go live. But thanks for listening. If you got this far, just let me know, and let me know your thoughts on everything, because I will be reading them. Love you guys. May the Force be with you.